Good morning and good afternoon, Elite Advisor and partners. Thank you for joining us in our first Rosewood Educational Webinar, Elite Exclusive Edition. My name is Tulan Bond, and I'm Director Global Sales at Rosewood Hotels and Resorts, based in Los Angeles. I've been at Rosewood over 18 years. In my current role, I work with the leisure agency segment to support you booking our hotels and resorts. I'm very pleased to be a moderator for today's call. Our guest presenter today will be Stephanie Ting, Area Sales Manager from the Carlyle, a Rosewood Hotel, and Rosewood, Washington, D.C. We also have Brad Simmons, Director Sales and Marketing from Rosewood Little Dix Bay. Before I turn over to the presenters, we want to take a moment to acknowledge that the world has changed a lot for us in 2020, especially in our industry. We know the impact it has with many of you, both personally and professionally. We want to thank you for your continued partnership and your support, as it has been very critical to our recovery. We will begin our call today with our Commitment to Care program, which provides our new health and safety standard at all our hotels. We will then do a refresh on Rosewood Elite benefits. We'll next share a few important updates on our reopening timeline. We'll take a short break to address some of the questions during the registration process. As you may recall, we gave you the opportunity to ask us some questions in advance to ensure this call is meaningful for you and help format the shape of the call today. Additionally, at the end of our presentation, we will have more Q&A time. We do encourage you to use the chat function for any question today. For those of you joining us for the first time, please note you will be on mute during the presentation to avoid noise interruptions. So let's begin. Rosewood Commitment to Care was created by local and international health experts for the well-being of our guests and our employees. We created a comprehensive guide for our teams to cover, including associate wellness screening, guest temperature checks, hygiene and sanitation training, heightened sanitation and cleaning practices, including increased cleaning of high touch points, contactless services, respecting social distancing, and enhanced food and beverage safety measure. We have also created an on-site health and safety manager role to manage the process. This is our core guideline. However, local law will always supersede this health and safety protocol. As you will hear today, our hotels do adapt to their local destination. It is important for Rosewood to emphasize our commitment to you as we take in the guideline without compromising the guest experience as we welcome our guests back to the hotels. As important partners, just a refresher, we want to highlight some key Elite program benefits. For advisors, exclusive 15% enhanced commission for best available rate bookings or any of our packages. Elite commission protection, dedicated Elite reservation and contact, Elite exclusive offers, guaranteed first to market notification. Your guests benefit include daily breakfast for two, complimentary one category upgrade upon arrival based on availability, personalized welcome note and amenity from the managing director on behalf of the advisor, and other additional property specific, such as hotel credit for spa or food and beverage, as you may have seen in the last few months. Additionally, Rosewood Elite is now available on mobile devices. Our property's contents is easily accessible. You can share active offer with your clients and get the latest information and update from Rosewood. As you can see in the next slide, most of our hotels are open with limited operations. We opened the Carlyle or Rosewood Hotel earlier this month. Next, we will have Rosewood Washington, D.C. In December, Rosewood Little Dix Bay will be reopened. The rest of our collection will be reopened in early 2021. Note this information is on the Elite website and will be continuously updated. We will now take a pause to address some of the questions we received during registration. A few of your questions relating to the hotels will be addressed by the presenters, Stephanie and Brad. Questions were asked about our flexible cancellation policy. We are very pleased to let you know it will be extended to June 30th, 2021. Festive cancellation policy will continue to be varies depending on the destination. So now we will begin our presentation with Stephanie from the Carlyle and Rosewood, Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Talon. Greetings from New York, and we are excited the Carlyle Hotel is now reopened just in time for our 90th birthday. It is an honor to share that we were also recognized as the #1 hotel in New York City in Condé Nast Traveler's 2020 Readers' Choice Awards. A brief update of New York City as a destination. Restaurants are now open for outdoor seating, along with limited indoor capacity to no more than 50%. Museums near the Carlyle, such as the Met, Museum of Natural History, and MoMA are open at 25% capacity. Major events such as Thanksgiving Parade is virtual this year. However, Saks Fifth Avenue will still have their light show during the holidays in December. Christmas tree will continue to be displayed at Rockefeller Center as well. Most importantly, all 3 major New York City and New Jersey airports are open and operational. At the Carlyle, we are taking a phased reopening approach where our dining options are closed. However, we are offering complimentary box breakfast for all of our guests. The breakfast will be placed on our guest door handle at a prearranged time in order to practice social distancing. Snacks and non-alcoholic items from the guest room minibar are offered complimentary during their stay. Many of you may be wondering about our New York City travel advisory. Currently, visitors from most US states are required to quarantine for 3 days upon arrival, with exception of contiguous states that includes New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Pennsylvania. Before arriving at the hotel, guests are required to provide us a completed traveler health form and a proof of negative COVID-19 test taken no more than 72 hours prior to arrival. Before arriving at the hotel, guests are required to quarantine in their guest room for the first 3 days and obtain another negative COVID-19 test on the 4th day. During quarantine, housekeeping service will be limited and we will deliver any requested items to the door. The safety of our guests and associates is our priority, so we have enhanced our health procedures such as temperature screening for guests and visitor upon arrival. We mandated physical distancing of 6 feet in all areas, and face covering is required entering the hotel while in all public spaces. Guest luggage will be sanitized upon arrival and departure upon request, and we do have contactless check-in available. Our guests will have the option to use a phone app as the key to their room, and express checkout is available through the in-room television. Currently, Sicily Spa and Eve de Ries Salon are both open for appointments only, and your guests can enjoy their $100 credit as part of their Rosewood Elite amenities. Our fitness center is also open and only accessible to our guests and residents of the Carlyle. A reservation is required prior, as our housekeeping team will be disinfecting in between each appointment. There's still a lot to do in New York City even during this special period. We are walking distance from Central Park, and currently your guests can see the beautiful fall foliage in the comfort of their suite. We are located at a walking distance from Madison and Fifth Avenue shopping, and our concierge team can pre-arrange a private transfer for your guests to explore the city as a safer way to travel. Accommodations. As many of you know, we started a comprehensive renovations 2 years ago, and now most of our guest rooms are designed by Tony Chi. As you can see here, our new decor has an Art Deco style, which was inspired by the history of the hotel and the murals and Bellman's Bar. We are in the final stage of redesigning our tower suites, and full renovation is estimated to be complete by first half of 2021. For the upcoming holidays, we have several promotions available, such as more Rosewood offer, where your guests can enjoy every third night complimentary starting from Superior Guest Room. The offer is combinable with your Rosewood Elite amenities, and we upgrade your guests at time of booking based on availability. Lastly, our food and beverage outlets, Cafe Carlyle, Bellman's Bar, The Gallery, and Carlyle Restaurant will remain the same and untouched due to its rich history. We hope to be reopening our dining operations soon. Moving on to Rosewood, Washington, D.C., we are a gem in Georgetown, located next to the canal. I'm excited to share we will be reopening the hotel next Monday on November 23rd. A brief update of Washington, D.C. as a destination. A self-quarantine of 14 days is required when visiting from 42 states that are considered high risk. You can see the list states here, and please keep in mind it is changing every week. The city is in phase 2 of reopening where outdoor dining is available along with indoor dining at 50% capacity. All tables are socially distanced with maximum of 6 guests per table. Events are allowed in the city with a maximum of 50 guests, and 2 main airports, Reagan National and Dulles International airports, remain open and operational. As for our hotel, we will take a phased reopening approach and will resume food and beverage operations in Cut DC and Cut Bar and Lounge. Offering dinner and beverage services, in-room dining will be available as well for our guests. Similar guidelines as the Carlyle, temperature screenings are required upon arrival, as well as physical distancing of 6 feet in all areas. A face covering is required and guest luggage will be sanitized upon request. Contactless payments as well as express checkout will be offered to your guests. Additionally, plexi guards are installed in check-in, concierge, hostess areas, and electrostatic misting machines are in every room. We implement at least a 24-hour room vacancy between guests, and our fitness center will open with reservations required, and the pool will remain closed at this time. At our food and beverage outlet, Cut DC, we offer contactless delivery and QR code digital menus. Our restaurant will reduce seating capacity to allow for a minimum of 6 feet between each seated party. All guests must remain seated during the service. Off-site recreation, guided tours, and large group tours are not allowed at this time. Museums, galleries, and National Zoo are open with a limited capacity of up to 50 people. Some exciting news to share. During our hotel closure, we completed the renovation of our 6 historical townhouses next to the property. Designed by a local designer, you can see it is a residential experience with 4 levels offering around 1,000 square feet of living space, kitchen, and a private outdoor patio. Each townhouse can accommodate up to 4 guests with a pull-out sofa and is a great option for families or extended stay guests. Our More Rosewood offer is now available for the upcoming holidays, which is applicable to our townhouses and combinable to your Rosewood Elite amenities. Your guests can enjoy daily continental breakfast for 2, $100 food and beverage credit, and upgrade at time of arrival based on availability. I'll look forward to welcoming your guests to the Carlyle and Rosewood, Washington, D.C. soon. And now over to Brad Simmons at Little Dix Bay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Just to follow up from Stephanie, I just wanted to tell you I've currently been at the Carlyle for a couple of days, and I have to tell you it's been exceptional. It's really given a great city experience even during this time. So definitely worth a visit back to Manhattan. As for Rosewood Little Dix Bay, I'm delighted to announce that we will be opening fully on the 4th of December. With the international borders opening on the 1st of December. So we're very excited to finally be coming back for the 2nd time this year. Protocols have been a little fluid in the recent few weeks, but just to give you a bit of a rundown of how you proceed in coming into the British Virgin Islands. By air, you can only come in via the Terence B. Lensholm Airport, also known as Beef Island. And you have to have a proof of a negative PCR test taken 72 hours prior and uploaded to a new BVI online portal within 24 hours pre-arrival into the region. I'm also delighted to confirm that they have changed the costs of this. So the cost for your tests and your tracking app is $175 per person. Once you arrive into the Tortola Airport, you'll have your transportation. You'll take a test on arrival, which then takes 24 hours to come back. Once you get to the property, you are then required to quarantine in your room until that test comes back. After that, you have the opportunity to be quarantined in the resort, and we won't be giving access to the spa, the fitness center, and the Rosewood Explorers Club until you have your day 4 test, and then you get the results of that on day 5. After that, you have free reign of the resort, and also the opportunity to go around the remainder of the BVIs. So technically, phase 1 is the room suites, the restaurants, the beach and the water sports, and phase 2, after the day 4 quarantine, is access to the remainder of the resort. Ultimately, as per our other Rosewood properties, our commitment to care is what we're working towards, to keep everyone safe, well, and to give as little disruption as possible. Our commitment to care is going above and beyond some of the protocols that are in place for resorts in the BVI, so it's important for us to keep everyone safe. We have an express contact-free check-in. We'll ultimately be sending all guests a dedicated portal to complete take credit card details, all compliant and safe. And when you arrive, we will take you straight to your room, which they all have a 24-hour period in between reservations where the room is fully cleaned and sealed. And in that room, you will have digital QR codes to a video orientation of the resort and your relevant accommodation, and also menus and other details on the resort. Pre-arrival measures, as I said, all rooms are fully sanitized. We have everything packaged and fully cleaned, including your bathrobes will be boxed and so forth. We will still offer daily service and housekeeping, but that will only happen with your pre-approval for your guest and when your guest is not in the room. So that will always be communicated and dealt with as per the guest request. Of course, we will have hand sanitizer and all those details across the resort, and there will of course be a kit including masks and so forth on arrival for guests. And on departure, as I mentioned, all rooms will be taken out of inventory for 24 hours and then sealed before the next guest comes into the resort. Public spaces, increased frequency of all the cleaning and all the washrooms. We do request all associates will be wearing masks at all times. We request guests, of course, to be wearing masks, but once you're sat down in any of the restaurants, you do not have to keep your mask on during dining and so on. Food and beverage, very similar to a lot of cities. We will be having, the 6-foot social distancing parameter in between tables. We'll ultimately be running at 50% capacity of all of our restaurants, but we're also changing our in-room dining concept, where we're taking key dishes from all our restaurants in order to give that option to all guests in their room. We are creating beautiful hamper-style options for our suites and our villas in order to be able to do in-room cooking and so forth, or take it to the beach. Pre-packaged meal options. And again, as I've mentioned, there will be QR codes for all digital menus across the resort and for in-room dining also. So spa, fitness center, water sports, tennis, explorers club, they will be open after your 4-day quarantine and once you get that day 4 test returned. We are changing some of the treatments and so forth in order to be able to work within the protocols. But ultimately, we have everything available, the water sports, the kayaks, the paddle boards, We can still do the tennis one-on-one lessons with the pro if wished, touchless water and ice refill stations and so on. And with the Rosewood Explorers, we've changed the opportunities for the children in order to be more outside. So we're going to be doing outside cooking classes, outside nature walks, and so forth, so we can keep up with the education and the treats for the children also. For Festive, so we have changed our cancellation policy for our Festive bookings. We're now saying that you have up to 7 days prior to cancel without any charge. As per what Tulan mentioned at the beginning, we've extended our cancellation until the end of June to give 24-hour cancellation for Q1 and Q2. We still do have availability for Christmas right through until the 3rd of January, which is our festive period. And over that time, we are offering sunset spa dinners, cooking classes, full moon beach dinner, cocktail masterclasses, and some beautiful programming that again is distant and gives the opportunity for people to enjoy the resort with safety measures in place. And that is everything for Little Dix Bay, and I'll hand you back to Tulan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. As I mentioned earlier in our presentation, we have enhanced our Rosewood Elite website to update you on the reopening hotels timeline and festive availability. The information is our standard guideline and availability is very fluid. Please make sure you check with us before confirming with your client on festive availability. We will now take your question in. So Katie, do we have any question for the advisor today?
Hi, yes, we do. I'm going to start by the order of the hotels that were featured. So for the Carlyle, we did have a question come in about socially distancing rooms. Do you have any parameters in place about room placement when guests are in the hotel to avoid some social some crowding in some of the common areas?
Yes, we do. So how we allocate our guest rooms, so it will be every other guest room. So if a guest is arriving today, there's the guest rooms right next to them will not be occupied. So just to keep social distancing as well as public space, we'll keep a 6 feet distance for all of our space as well. Is there another question, Katie?
Yes. We do have a question for Washington, D.C. as well. Do you offer any outdoor dining?
Yes, we do. So we do have outdoor seatings right by the restaurant, overlooking at the canal. But however, the temperature outside and the weather, it really depends because it is quite cold now. So it really depends if their guest wants to enjoy that or the temperature or the weather of the city. But we do have that available.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. We do have some questions as well. Oh, we actually have a new one coming in. Do you have any policy around elevator? I'm assuming this may be for the Carlyle.
Yes, so for the Carlyle, we do limit 1 guest per elevator. However, if you're traveling with 2 or 3 guests within your own party, then you could share the elevator.
Great. And another question came in for Washington, D.C. Do you offer catering to the new townhouses?
So for townhouses, they will have the same experience as if you're staying at the hotel. So for example, if you want to order in-room dining, you can order through the hotel from Cut DC. So anything that you would like to order, it's available from the menu.
Perfect, great. Okay, moving on for Little Dix Bay. Brad, could you repeat the testing procedure? Was it 72 hours before arrival?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, it does get a little confusing, but ultimately, so for high risk areas, so effectively Europe and the US, you have to have a negative COVID-19 PCR test done 72 hours prior to arrival into the region. And you have to upload that to the portal. You then arrive in Tortola on day 0, so your arrival day, and then you have a test at the airport, another PCR test that will take 24 hours to come back to you. You go to the resort, you quarantine in your room until that result comes back, and hopefully it's negative. You then get the opportunity to enjoy the resort without going to the spa and the fitness club mainly. On day 4, you have another test, and when you get that back on day 5, you have free reign of the resort and also the opportunity to explore around the BVIs. So there are a few steps with the testing and so forth, but ultimately it's to keep everyone safe, as well as the locals and the workforce and so forth. And ultimately, you do still get the availability of all the restaurants, the half-mile beach, which is one of the best beaches in the world, the water sports, the snorkeling, enjoying the bay and the wildlife and so forth. So that is the protocols in place at the moment.
Great, thank you. Kind of a question in relation. If a guest or traveler is coming from another island, say St. Bart's, would they still need to go through the 4-day quarantine at the property?
That's a very good question. I believe so, yes. They also still need to go through the testing. So likewise, when you leave the BVI, if you're going to another Caribbean region or to Puerto Rico or to the US VIs, you have to have a negative test done prior to being allowed into those areas.
Great. And one question unrelated to COVID, does Little Dix Bay offer any connecting rooms?
Yes, we do. We have some connecting rooms in our ocean view cottages and also in our junior suites. And in fact, we have two junior suite king rooms that interconnect into junior suite queens. So great for families. The beautiful thing about the resort in general is that although we don't have a huge amount of connectability, the resort has a number of suites that are next to each other and so forth. The resort also lends itself very well to sort of that social distancing if required, because you have 80 accommodations that are spread across the half-mile beach effectively.
Great, thank you. We have many more questions, which we'll take offline just to be considerate of everyone's time. And I'm going to pass it back to Tulon to close out the webinar.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Please stay connected and stay well. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And we look forward to work with you. Thank you again. Bye.